I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus3 TCG, and today we're going to be looking at a deck profile. We're going to be looking at Magical Musketeers. This deck is pretty cool. I've been getting into more control-based decks lately, as you can see with the Altergeist profile and now with Magical Musketeers. This deck doesn't necessarily have like any cool win conditions, but it does control the board, as long as you can keep a Magical Musketeer on the board. For the most part, this deck is pretty fun. Like I said, control-based deck. And yeah, we're just going to hop right into the deck profile and explain some of the choices. So 3 Casper is, I would say, pretty standard. This is your Stratos for the deck. It's got a big butt and it can search itself as well, so if it gets ghost ogred, you can just search another copy of itself so that you can have a follow-up turn if you have the cards to do that. I'm playing 3 Kid Brave. This card can be bricky at times, like almost rarely ever. Like, you should statistically almost always have a musket card in your hand that you can pitch. But yeah, it lets you kind of fix your hands and pitch any of the multiples that you have, or pitch any of the stuff that you can afford to pitch so that you can draw. And then most people are playing 3 of these. Well, it's between 3 and 2. I like 2 because the third one, this kind of clogs your hand, and if you open this turn 1, you kind of have to have like Ties of the Brethren or Pot of Desires or Duality, something to like get you in to more musket cards, because that kind of the monster you special summon off of this, you really want musket cards or something else to activate into this, so you have to have a good hand. Essentially all this boils down to, you have to have a good hand for this card to be really good, and that's why I play 2. Doc, this one's great for the grind game, just because it allows you to add in your musket cards back to your hand. On to the hand traps. 3 Ash Blossom, and then 3 Ogre. Kind of standard hand traps, I would say. You can play Veilers if you like and cut some of the other cards, but I feel like having stuff to activate, having spells and traps to activate under your Musketeers is more important. So the spells, the Mac Daddy of the deck, Ties of the Brethren. Going first is great, but going second, this card isn't so great. So if you're playing this locals or regionals, I would probably side this out going into game 2 if you're going second, because you kind of need your battle phase with this deck. It's not really like a battle heavy oriented deck. I guess you can do some damage with cross domination and with steady hands, but for the most part, you're not OTKing with the deck, so you really need to make sure you have your battle phase. This card, turn 1, just allows you to extend like no other. And that's why you play 3 of it, and then 3 of these to enable more of your Musketeer plays. Same thing with Duality and Upstart. I don't play 3 Duality because of Ties of the Brethren. And I also tested Emergency Teleport out, well, with Ghost Ogre, because it becomes not only a starter card, but it can turn into Stardust Charge Warrior, which gets you another card. And then if you have Ties of the Brethren, that can also be a cool plus. So this card just kind of conflicts with mainly Ties of the Brethren and then like Emergency Teleport as well, but I'm not playing in this version. And then 1 Upstart Goblin, of course. And 3 Cross Domination. This card is insane. Just your effect negator, and then it puts their attack and defense to 0. Great to activate damage step, damage calc, all that good stuff. Just an all-around good card. Really feel like you should be playing 3 of these, even if you brick with this. Kid Brave can kind of fix your bricky hands. Pitch this, draw, and then just have Doc recycle it later on. But I'm only playing 1 Steady Hands. I just don't think this has as much utility outside of just like, I guess you can like activate it under one of your Musketeers. I don't know. it just doesn't have as much utility as like the other spell cards that are like better to activate. This can get you something, but it's just not as good of a situation if you're just activating this to activate Caspar's effect or something like that. Because this deck doesn't have much of a going second game strategy really, I'm playing one Raigeki. It allows me to clear the board and also plus off of it with my Musketeers. And for the traps, we're playing 3 of these bad boys. Last Stand. This allows you to negate spells and traps, so it's a solemn judgment in that respect. Obviously, it doesn't negate the summons, which is one of the problems with the deck. It doesn't really have anything that negates summons, which would be insane if they had like a, I don't know, a Last Nap, where they just negated everything. Last Slumber, who knows. But this card's a most definite 3-0 because you just need the negation. That's the nature of the deck, is to control the board state with literal hand traps. And that's why I play 3 of these as well. Desperado, this is the card that just allows you to pop stuff for free. You just have to make sure you control a Magical Musketeer. Great card, definitely want to play 3 of these. Really allowing you to lower your opponent's ceiling. 2 of these, I think this card is amazing because it prevents your cards from being destroyed. However, like, breaking with it can be kind of I guess. And then its last effect is pretty good as well. And the way I guess I solved the summoning issue, the fact that there's no like searchable ways to negate summons, even though this isn't searchable, this is just how you negate their normal summons. This doesn't. I'm still back and forth with this. Like I've tested 2-strike, this little package right here. 2 Torrential is cool because it goes well with the Fiendish Deals. But like the normal, not being able to negate summons before I use my like Desperado and stuff like that is one of the issues with the deck, because they're just really little. So all your opponent really has to do if they want to get over the board is just like not activate their effect to summon like a Garnet and attack over my stuff, because most of my Magical Musketeers are really small. So if they can just beat over my things, then they can kind of beat the deck. But playing these allows me to mitigate that. I can't like negate hand traps and stuff, so I thought about playing Call Down or Call to the Grave, but not too much room. I guess you can cut like a Raigeki and an Upstart, but I really think the Upstart and the Raigeki are better choices because Call to the Grave is a reactive card that requires you to react to an opponent's card pretty much, whereas Raigeki and Upstart are just cards that you can straight up activate. Raigeki kind of requires your opponent to have a monster, but you can kind of expect them to have a monster if they want to try to win the game. So that's the main deck, 40 cards, 39 with Upstart. And the extra deck isn't as important, but it's just a lot of utility stuff. You can play Cherries, and then I guess play a lot of Cherries targets, but I'm not playing Cherries because I guess like following Ediception's, I think, yeah, Ediception played the deck and did something with it. He talked about, I'm trying to remember, talked about that card not being a good enough win condition for the deck, so it's not exactly the most advantageous card to be playing. So that's why some of the reason I chose to not play it, just forego playing it, period, and just play an extra deck full of utility cards. So we're playing 1 Break Sword, spot removal, same thing with Grand Pulse, spot removal, Acid Golem because it's really big, Nightmare Shark because it allows you to attack directly, and I play Giga Brilliant only to make Corbage, only to make Thunder Charger. So like this is cool because it has a neat effect, but this is a little more important. You're really just trying to build up from Giga Brilliant to this, because like I said, the deck doesn't have a whole lot of ability to like crash over into things and just beat down stuff unless it has the cross domination. So without that, you have to kind of rely on your extra deck to be able to push through things. That's why I play that and Downer Magician. If for some reason I can't make, or if like I didn't have a Giga Brilliant on board, and I don't know, like I have a Grand Pulse or something, and I want to do damage next turn, I guess summon Magician. But this is a more advantageous card to summon. Try to set up with Giga Brilliant, Corbage, and Gaia, because I can summon this in main phase 1 instead of main phase 2 with this. And then on to the Synchros, which are not making as much. Stardust Charge Warrior, like I was talking about, just advantage, lets you draw, and it's a cool effect that you can attack all your opponent's special summon monsters. Coral Dragon, just spot removal and then another draw if you can get it off the field. Black Rose for the board wipes. Michael for the spot removal, and this is pretty much just for stuff that I can't afford for it to be in the grave, so just banish it with Michael. And then Trish, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that Deception profile at the UDS, it's kind of what like sparked me liking this deck, is that Deception profile, because it was just very consistent, and as you all know, I love decks that do their things quite consistently, and the fact that he could play Trish, and that sparked me wanting to play it, so I've been testing it for a while, and it has come up. So yeah, that's why I play that. Great spot removal. Just the whole extra deck is really just utility and spot removal for what you can't get rid of with your Magical Musketeers, but you should be able to do that with your Magical Musketeers and the Spell and Traps. And then the links, which never come up. The reason they're there is just kind of for theory. So like this and Deco Talker are my only links. Deco Talker is to get over Baguska, and then Underclock Taker is to get over like really big stuff. If I can't for some reason get over all of their really big monsters, in theory, Underclock Taker can bring them down, and then hopefully just run over them with my Musketeers and Underclock Taker. And then the Deco Talker, like I said, just for Baguska, really, because you're not worried about opening up any extra deck zones, because you can't really spam with this deck, so you don't need to worry about making this extra deck too much. It's just there just in case. That's the deck profile, y'all. I'm having some fun playing the deck. It is a control-based deck, and like I said, I've been getting into more control-based decks, kind of preparing myself for Altergeist. I feel like I'm going to be playing Altergeist in the next set when that drops, because Multi-Faker is nutty. So yeah, let me know what y'all think of the ratios I chose down in the comment section below. And this is Alex from +3 TCG, signing out, y'all.